Welcome to the deep dive. It's really fantastic to have you with us today. We're diving into something that feels incredibly urgent and really personal for so many of us right now. It's that big question, isn't it? You hear it everywhere, headlines, quiet worries maybe. Will artificial intelligence, AI, steal your job? Or could it actually, maybe, create a better one for you? This isn't just hype, it's a fundamental shift, really changing how we work, how we create. There's so much noise out there, anxiety, predictions, you name it. Our goal today, cut through that. We've gone through a ton of sources, reports, studies, the works. We want to give you the distilled truth, the real insights. Think of this as your shortcut to getting properly informed on this. No overload, just the facts and what they mean. If you're new here, welcome, great to have you. And if you're back for more, thanks for diving in again. Don't forget to hit subscribe, maybe ring that notification bell. That way you won't miss our next deep dive.
Absolutely. And it's so important because the future of work, it's not some far off thing anymore, is it? It's being shaped right now by these exact technologies we're talking about. Understanding the old automation and crucially, how it actually affects specific tasks, maybe even whole jobs. That's essential. Doesn't matter if you're starting out, thinking of a change, or deep in your career, grasping these shifts isn't just about, keeping up. It's about figuring out how to adapt, how to use the new tools, how to, thrive, not just survive.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then, because before we jump to conclusions, robots taking over, we need to be really clear what we're actually talking about. Because AI today, impacting our jobs, it's not just the factory robots on assembly lines anymore, is it? What is this generative AI that's got everyone talking and maybe a little worried?
That's exactly the point. It's a critical difference. The whole conversation around AI shifted dramatically, didn't it? Especially for knowledge work, creative fields. That shift, it's mostly down to generative AI emerging and getting really good really fast. See, older AI, older automation, it was mostly about predefined tasks. Repetitive stuff. Think robot arms welding or algorithms sorting data that's already structured. Generative AI, it works differently, fundamentally. It's not just doing things, it's creating things. These systems, things like large language models for text or diffusion models for images, they're trained on absolutely massive amounts of data, just huge. And they learn pattern structures, connections within that data, but not just to repeat it. They learn it so they can generate new stuff, new text, new images, new ideas, stuff that fits the patterns but is actually novel. Often surprisingly so. So yeah, they can write text, make pictures, even put together sounds or video, completely new outputs. It's less about following rigid steps and more about, simulating creativity and problem solving at scale. They don't just process what you give them. They invent something new based on it.
And this isn't theory, right? This is happening now, all around us. I mean, the examples our sources give are so concrete. They really hit home how big this shift is. We're talking ChatGPT. It doesn't just fix your grammar. It writes whole emails, reports, even stories. From a simple prompt. It gets the context, the tone. It's remarkable. And they've got Midjourney. You type a few words, and boom, incredible art appears. Photorealistic, abstract, whatever, in seconds.
Exactly. Generate it right there.
And maybe the wildest one is Sora, right?
Yeah.
Making entire video scenes that look real. With moving cameras, characters doing things, it is mind-blowing.
It pushes the boundaries, absolutely.
These tools aren't just crunching numbers. They're creating, imagining almost. Doing things we thought until like yesterday needed that unique human spark. What does that even imply about creativity? Does it change how we think about what machines can do?
Oh, it fundamentally challenges our assumptions. Yeah, definitely. And the implications for, the real world right now, profound. Let's take a practical example, say a graphic designer, a really experienced one, normally creating visuals for a campaign. That takes hours, maybe days. Concepts, sketches, revisions. Now, with tools like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, that same designer can type in some descriptions, some prompts, and get dozens, maybe hundreds of really high-quality visual options in seconds.
Wow.
Seconds. Yeah. So their job changes, doesn't it? It's less about drawing every line and more about guiding the AI, curating the options, refining the best ones, strategic direction. It's not just faster. It lets them explore creative ideas they just wouldn't have had time for before. Amplifies their creativity.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. What about other areas?
Or think about like a startup that's growing fast, needs customer support, global, 247, multiple languages. Before, that meant hiring tons of people, training them, covering all time zones, all languages, huge cost.
A massive operation.
Right. Now, with generative AI chatbots, they can handle huge numbers of questions instantly. 247, yeah, in lots of languages, giving personalized, relevant answers. And the AI learns from every chat. It gets better over time. So for basic stuff, you might not need a human waiting.
So the implications there,
Yeah.
speed, efficiency.
Scale. The ability to scale up support without massively scaling up headcount in the same way. It changes the economics. It allows businesses to offer a level of service that was just impossible before or impossibly expensive. It's reshaping entire service models.
And that's really the kicker, isn't it? Like you said, this isn't sci-fi. Our sources are pointing to this happening now. They literally say that's 2025. This year, next year, it's not some future wave way off in the distance. It's here. It's impacting industries, jobs, workflows right now as we speak. This isn't a what-if conversation for the future. It's a what's happening now conversation.
Precisely. And that immediacy is exactly why understanding this stuff, these actual current capabilities, is so vital for you listening right now and no one thinking about their career, maybe adapting in their current job. You need to get past the headlines, the hype, and grasp what generative AI really does, because that's the first step. It lets you think strategically about your own work, look at your skills, figure out how you can use these tools or adapt to them. It turns that scary question, will AI take my job, into something more empowering, like how can I use AI to do my job better?
Right. Or how can I enhance what I do?
Exactly. Or pivot to something new that leverages these tools. Understanding is the key. It moves you from just worrying to actually doing something about it. Active engagement.
Okay, so we've got a clearer picture of what generative AI is, and we see it's already making waves. Now let's shift gears a bit from the what it is to the what it's doing to jobs. Because for most people, that's the bottom line, right? How does this affect my livelihood? What do the numbers, the actual data, tell us about the impact on jobs? The data doesn't lie, or does it?
Well, it tells a story. And it's a nuanced one, actually. Often gets oversimplified. Our sources highlight some really key figures. First up, the World Economic Forum. Their Future of Jobs 2024 report. It's a big global look at trends. And one major finding is that about 23% of current tasks across all sorts of industries might be automated by 2027.
Okay, 23% of tasks, not jobs. That sounds like an important distinction.
It's absolutely critical. We need to unpack that. A job isn't usually just one thing, right? It's made up of lots of different tasks. Think about a project manager. They schedule meetings, write agendas, manage teams, handle risks, talk to people. Lots of things.
Sure, all mix.
So if maybe AI can automate, say, drafting the first version of the agenda or finding meeting times, that's maybe 23% of their tasks being automated. It doesn't automatically mean 23% of project managers lose their job.
Okay, I see.
It means parts of the role change. Specific components get automated. Could be routine data entry, writing initial drafts, answering basic questions, doing preliminary research. The significance is huge because automating parts of a role changes what the human actually does. It frees you up from the more routine stuff, the repetitive bits, maybe the heavy data crunching. Your main responsibilities might stay, but how you do them changes a lot.
Okay, 23% of tasks automated. That still sounds like a pretty big deal. But you said the picture is nuanced. And here's where our sources throw in a twist, right? There's another piece of data that seems to point in a completely different direction, almost the opposite. What's this second data point, the productivity paradox or twist you mentioned?
Indeed. And that twist comes from McKinsey. A major study they did found something really striking. Productivity jumped, wait for it, by 40% in some roles after they successfully brought in AI tools.
40%. Wow, that's massive. That's not a small tweak.
Not at all. It's transformative, a huge leap in how much gets done, how efficiently. So, okay, how does that happen? How does bringing AI in lead to such a big productivity boost?
Yeah, how?
Well, it ties back to that task automation we just talked about. It happens because AI takes over those more mundane, time-sucking, repetitive tasks, the ones the WEF report mentioned. Imagine, say, someone in marketing. They used to spend hours researching trends, digging through consumer data, then writing draft after draft of campaign ideas.
Right, a lot of manual effort.
With AI, they can get market data synthesized almost instantly, generate multiple campaign concepts in minutes, even get predictions on how people might react. This frees up a ton of their time.
And what do they do with that time?
That's the key. It's not wasted. It gets redirected to higher value stuff. The marketing pro can now focus more on the overall strategy, build better client relationships, brainstorm truly creative, out-of-the-box ideas, spend more time on the human connection side of things. AI acts like a force multiplier in this scenario. It boosts what humans can do, lets individuals achieve way more or produce much higher quality work in the same amount of time. Because because it handles the routine stuff, the grunt work, if you like.
Again, it's the processing, letting the human do the thinking.
Essentially, yeah, it streamlines things, speeds up analysis, gives instant access to information or creative drafts. It changes the whole input versus output equation. It's not just working faster, it's enabling deeper, more impactful work by taking away the routine burden.
Okay, so let me try and square this. WEF says 23% of tasks might go to AI by 2027. Sounds like less human work. But then McKinsey finds this huge 40% productivity jump when AI comes in. If you're listening to this, maybe looking at your own job, that might feel kind of contradictory, maybe confusing. How do we make sense of both those numbers? Are tasks disappearing or are we getting superpowers? What's the real story here when you put them together? What does it all mean for us?
That's exactly the right question. Synthesizing these is crucial. And our sources are actually very clear on the conclusion they draw from this. It is less about mass job loss and much, much more about job transformation.
Transformation, okay.
Yeah. Think about it. The 23% task automation isn't just a negative. It's what enables the 40% productivity jump. AI isn't wiping out the whole job, usually. It's taking on the bits that are frankly less efficient for humans to do, the standardized parts, the scalable parts. And by offloading those, it lets the humans shift their focus, redirect their energy to the higher value stuff, the complex parts, the creative parts, the parts that are actually more rewarding.
Can you give some more examples of that? A job transformation in action.
Sure. Let's take an entry-level data analyst. A big chunk of their time might traditionally be spent just cleaning data, tedious stuff, formatting spreadsheets, running basic queries over and over.
Right. Necessary, but maybe not thrilling work.
Exactly. With AI, a large language model or a specialized tool can automate a lot of that data prep, that initial querying. Does the analyst lose their job? Not necessarily. Their role gets elevated. Now they can spend more time actually interpreting the complex results the AI gives them, or designing smarter prompts to guide the AI's analysis, thinking strategically about what the data means for the business.
So less doing, more thinking and directing.
Precisely. From execution to interpretation and strategy. Or think about a content creator. Writing marketing copy, blog posts, instead of starting from a blank page every time researching for hours, they can use generative AI to get outlines fast, generate different angles, even get first drafts written.
Saving a lot of time there.
A huge amount. So their role changes too. They become less of just an author and more of an editor, a strategist, a guardian of the brand's voice. They refine the AI's output, add the human storytelling touch, ensure it connects emotionally. Things AI isn't great at yet.
Managing the AI's output, essentially.
Yes, and adding the uniquely human layer on top. And this transformation forces us to think, okay, what skills become really valuable now? It points towards things like sophisticated critical thinking. You need to evaluate what the AI spits out, right? Check for bias, verify it. Problem-solving changes, too. It's less about doing the calculation, more about defining the right problem for the AI to tackle.
Asking the right questions.
Exactly. Prompting becomes a skill. Creativity shifts from just making stuff manually to having innovative ideas and guiding the AI. And then there are the human skills. Emotional intelligence, communication, strategy, AI struggles there. So the idea is using the machine's power to amplify our unique human strengths, elevate the work itself.
Okay, but let's be completely honest here. Even with all this positive talk about transformation and productivity, there's still that fear, isn't there? That nagging feeling that, yeah, AI will just flat out replace some jobs entirely. It can't all be sunshine and productivity gains for everyone, surely. Our sources must acknowledge that reality, too.
You're absolutely right to push on that. It's crucial we don't gloss over it. While the big picture seems to be transformation, yes, it's also true that some jobs will be replaced, unequivocally. Our sources are clear on this, and they consistently point to the jobs most at risk, those built around repetitive, rule-based tasks.
Repetitive and rule-based. What does that look like in practice?
Think about tasks that are really predictable. They follow a strict set of instructions. They don't need complex judgment or empathy or creative solutions to unexpected problems. If you can write down the steps clearly, like an if this, then that flowchart, if it's based on processing existing data without needing new ideas or ethical judgment.
It's vulnerable.
Okay, can you give some examples? What kind of roles fit that description? Well, think about maybe some forms of basic data entry. Someone just copying information from one place to another, following exact rules. And AI can learn those rules and do it incredibly fast, 2047, probably with fewer errors.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or maybe certain levels of customer service jobs that only handle really standard questions. Reading from a script, basically. An AI chatbot can do that. Access huge amounts of information instantly, deliver the standard answer.
FAQs and basic troubleshooting.
Potentially, yeah. Or administrative roles heavily focused on very standardized scheduling, maybe processing forms that never change format, basic inventory checks against a fixed list. The common thread is predictability, quantifiable tasks, lack of need for human intuition or adapting to brand new situations. Or those soft skills. If a job is mostly that, it's a prime candidate for automation. Understanding why they're vulnerable is key. It's about the nature of the tasks involved.
Right, so we have this tension, a real threat to certain jobs, the repetitive ones. But sitting right alongside that is this massive opportunity for productivity, for transformation in other roles. So given everything, the power of generative AI, the WEF data on tasks, the McKinsey data on productivity, how should we really frame this? As individuals, maybe as a society, how do we balance this threat and opportunity? What's the main takeaway from our sources on the future of work?
The main takeaway, the perspective that really shines through from the sources, is actually one of profound opportunity. Provided, and this is a big provided, that we engage with it thoughtfully, proactively, and commit to adapting. Yes, some roles focus purely on those repetitive tasks are vulnerable, that's true. But the overall impact of tools like ChatGPT, Sora, Midjourney on professions, it's not just about taking away, it's much more about augmenting what people do, creating totally new ways to work, and even creating brand new jobs, new roles, maybe even new industries we haven't even thought of yet.
Can you expand on that opportunity aspect more? How does it create new ways of working?
Let's look at software development. AI can write code now, suggest fixes, even draft architectures. Does that mean developers are obsolete? No. It means they're freed up from writing the boring boilerplate code.
So they can focus on
the harder stuff. Designing the overall system, solving tricky, novel bugs that need real abstract thought, innovating completely new features, making sure the software actually feels right for the user. Their role shifts up a level. From just coding to complex problem solving, strategic design, creative integration, it boosts their output, lets them do more ambitious things.
Okay, another example.
How about the legal field? AI can now scan thousands of legal documents, cases, regulations in minutes. That used to take teams of paralegals and junior lawyers weeks, maybe months.
A huge time saver.
Exactly. Does it replace the lawyer? No. It empowers the lawyer. It frees them up to focus on legal strategy, on arguing persuasively in court, on counseling clients with empathy, understanding the human side, on navigating complex ethical issues that AI just can't handle. The AI becomes like a superpowered research assistant. It lets the human lawyer operate at a much higher, more strategic level.
So the pattern seems to be AI handling the processing, the repetition, the data sifting.
Yes, enhancing our capabilities, making us more efficient, more creative, more insightful potentially. It shifts human effort towards what we're uniquely good at. Complex problem solving when things aren't clear-cut. Abstract thinking, real innovation, ethical judgment, and maybe most importantly, the human stuff. Connection, communication, emotional intelligence. The opportunity is using AI to take the load off, freeing us up for the work that needs that human touch, those higher level skills where we still thrive. It's about partnership, human-AI partnership, amplifying potential.
That's a really powerful frame, shifting from fear to potential. So if we're listeners thinking about our own careers, our skills, our futures, what's the most practical takeaway here? Based on all these insights, what steps or maybe what mindset shifts should we be considering right now to stay relevant, to thrive in this AI-shaped world?
I think the single most actionable thing, connecting all the dots, is this. You need to embrace these tools. You need to really understand what they can do. That's going to be key. Not just for survival, but for thriving. It's not enough anymore to just be good at your specific job domain. You also need to get how AI is changing that domain.
Okay, so how do we do that practically?
Well, first step,
Right.
Get hands-on. Seriously, play with these tools. Use ChatGPT. Try Midjourney if you're in a visual field. See what Sora can do. Don't just read about them, use them. Figure out what they're good at, where they fall short. Feel their potential. Second, look hard at your own job right now. What parts of your day could AI potentially automate or help with significantly?
Identify the vulnerable tasks within your role.
Exactly. And once you see those, think creatively. How can I then level up my own contribution? Maybe your value shifts from doing all the tasks to becoming really skilled at managing the process, which now includes AI. You become the strategic overseer, the quality controller of the AI's output. Maybe you get really good at prompt engineering, telling the AI exactly what you need.
Guiding the AI effectively.
Yes, your value shifts upward. Third, double down on the human-centric skills. AI is great at processing, but it lacks real empathy, nuanced communication, ethical depth, true out-of-the-box creativity. So sharpen your critical thinking, your ability to solve messy, unstructured problems, your creativity, your emotional intelligence, how you work with other people. These are your differentiators.
The things AI can't easily replicate.
For now, yes. And fundamentally, adopt a mindset of continuous learning. Lifelong learning isn't a cliche anymore. Learn about your field and learn about how AI intersects with your field. Be adaptable, stay curious, learn to collaborate with people and with AI. Think of AI as your co-pilot, a powerful assistant and lets you fly higher. The future really does belong to those who figure out how to partner effectively with AI.
This has been, incredibly insightful and actually quite reassuring in many ways. We started with that big, maybe scary question, AI stealing jobs or making better ones. And what we've unpacked today, pulling from the WEF, from McKinsey, it's a complex picture, but a powerful one. Generative AI is truly a game changer. Doing things we didn't expect machines to do. We saw the data. 23% of tasks might be automated, yes, but also that huge 40% productivity leap is possible. And the big takeaway, the theme that kept coming up, is transformation, not replacement, as the main story. It's about task changing, roles evolving, freeing us up for more human work, creating new kinds of jobs even.
Exactly. Which leads us to, perhaps, a final thought, a question for all of us, really. As AI keeps reshaping work probably faster and faster, how do we individually, collectively make sure we're using this incredible power well? Not just for speed or profit, but to genuinely enhance human potential, to build new skills, to actually create more fulfilling, more meaningful work for ourselves and for the people coming after us. It's a huge challenge, no doubt, but maybe also an incredible opportunity for our own ingenuity and vision.
A fantastic and really important thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into AI and the future of work. We really hope this gave you a clearer, maybe more empowered view on something that affects us all. Keep learning, keep exploring, keep thinking about these big changes. We'll catch you on the next deep dive. And hey, if you found this valuable, maybe hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We'd love to have you back for more.